Welcome, fellow Phoenixes, to the Spiritual Phoenix Podcast, where we make a daily offering to the divine by putting our past on the pyre, searching the smoke for spirituality, turning the ashes into art, adapting isolation into connection, and manifesting mental wellness. I don't take drugs, I am drugs, called raw Cessna, and I wish to ignite the authentic expression of your soul into any avenue that elevates consciousness. I don't want to tell you what to think, but to get you to think, create your own understanding, and originally articulate yourself in a way that is uplifting. We are the artists of our lives, and today is a blank canvas. Let's collectively create a better tomorrow. And now I'd like to take a moment and reflect on what we're grateful for today. Today, I'm grateful for my experiences with drugs, as well as I'm grateful for my clean time now from them. It may seem counterintuitive to some people that I'm clean and that I'm going to talk about the benefits of drugs, and that's okay if you don't understand. For any of my friends that are in recovery and familiar with me or know about my recovery, I still don't want to use drugs. I recognize how they've harmed me. But I would also be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the benefits of using them. And I'm going to get into a couple quotes right now. I also like to say that I'm not suggesting that people should use them or advocating the use of them. I'm talking about my personal experience with them. And if you decide to use them, that's your own conscious decision. There is negative elements to them. Those are talked about more frequently. And with that, I'll get into a couple quotes. I think drugs have done some good things for us. I really do. And if you don't believe drugs have done good things for us, do me a favor. Go home tonight, take all your albums, all your tapes, and all your CDs and burn them. And that was said by Bill Hicks. Psychedelics are not illegal because a loving government is concerned that you may jump out of a third-story window. Psychedelics are illegal because they dissolve opinion structures and culturally laid down models of behavior and information processing. They open you up to the possibility that everything you know is wrong. And that was said by Terence McKenna. I am 100% in favor of the intelligent use of drugs and 1000% against the thoughtless use of them, whether caffeine or LSD. And drugs are not central to my life. And that was said by Timothy Leary. My major preoccupation is the question, what is reality? Many of my stories and novels deal with psychotic states or drug-induced states by which I can present the concept of a multiverse rather than a universe. Music and sociology are themes in my novels, also radical political trends. In particular, I have written about fascism and my fear of it. That was said by Philip K. Dick. The Niños Santos, or psilocybe mexicana, heal. They lower fevers, cure colds, and give freedom from toothaches. They pull the evil spirits out of the body or free the spirit of the sick. And that was said by Maria Sabina. I've stated before on here, the first drug that I ever really was addicted to was sugar, then caffeine, and then I tried nicotine, then it would be alcohol, and then pot, and then I moved on to psychedelics. I'll say that nicotine isn't a healthy drug. Sugar isn't a healthy drug. Caffeine, I still use caffeine. I still eat sugar occasionally. Other drugs such as pot, psychedelics, I don't need to use them anymore, but there are benefits to them. In my experience, it won't be the same for everybody else. Pot kind of helped me get outside of my everyday consciousness in some ways, and there are some benefits to that. It can help, I don't want to say make people more creative. It can help them think a little bit differently, and that was a benefit to me. I really became conscious of myself for the first time around the time that I started using pot, and that could have been because of age as well. Um, but it gave me a different perspective on my life. When I started using psychedelics, it again gave me a different perspective on my life. And over the use of them, I had some boundary dissolving and culturally shaped opinions dissolve to where I was able to look at the world differently. I realized the fallacy of money, the foolishness of how we work, the foolishness of how our culture is. I realized so many different things, and it got me in touch with this childlike beauty of seeing the world as I hadn't seen it before. I could see divinity in a blade of grass. I could see amazing things that most people just overlook. I can recall one time when I was tripping on LSD in Las Vegas. I was driving to go to Red Rock Canyon, and everybody was in a hurry. And I don't suggest driving on psychedelics either, obviously. I was driving to Red Rock Canyon, and everybody was in a hurry, and I was just like creeping along, and I was like, everyone's in a hurry going nowhere to get to nowhere. And that still rings true to me today. I have similar experiences or thought concepts now in my clean time. I have 153 days clean today. Those kind of mindsets, I think, it opens doors. They can open doors. As far as mushrooms, it connected me with kind of like earth-based spirituality in many ways. It got me in tune with lots of positive things. The issue is they're not for everybody, and when you take them, there can be some consequences. I don't really want to get into the negative elements of those things today. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But there can be benefits to them if they're used appropriately and they're not overused for sensory gratification or as an everyday or frequent thing. I believe that ritualistic use with reverence and respect can have benefits. And I can't do them anymore personally. I mean, I can do them. I'm not going to do them anymore. I kind of view it like I used up a lifetime supply of those opportunities, and more than a lifetime supply of those opportunities. I've probably done enough of plant medicines for several lifetimes and several people. I kind of also view it like making a tie-dye shirt. When you get a nice pattern on the tie-dye after dipping it so many times, if you continue to dip it, it's going to blur and blend and muddy the beauty of the design on there. The design being me and my mentality isn't perfect. No, but I can shape that mentality and mindset, temper it with reality now. And I say reality in quotations. But clean living to me now is a high in itself. And I always thought that high on life was a stupid expression. I never understood it. I have substantially more spiritual experiences on a continual basis in my clean time than I have had previously. There was a point in my life too over the past year where I had this reoccurring thought: would you give up smoking pot to do what you want to do, which is help people? And I would always say yeah, and then I'd go get stoned. As soon as I quit smoking weed, many opportunities presented themselves to me, and I have a better quality of life. I just can't negate that I did have some positive experiences on psychedelics and pot. And for people that don't think that pot can have psychedelic properties or hallucinogenic properties, you've obviously never eaten high amounts of hash or smoked a lot of good weed to have those kind of experiences, or you don't understand what psychedelic or hallucinogenic properties actually mean. Or maybe you just have a higher tolerance than me and my sensitivity to those things brought it on. I can't say. It's really irrelevant. But yeah, there can be some benefits, and there's certain drugs that I haven't mentioned because I haven't experienced them, and they're not plant-based. I mean, I guess some of them are plant-based, but they've been manipulated in some ways, and I don't think that anybody ever really has quote-unquote good experiences on them. They may. I don't think anybody's ever like, I'm going to start smoking crack or doing meth or shooting up heroin and get my shit together. Maybe somebody does. I've never heard those stories. The other thing I'd like to state about psychedelics and things like that too is they have the ability to help overcome addictions. When I used them, I really was a heavy drinker, and I mean, using them didn't make me stop, but using psychedelics made me realize the toxicity of my drinking and how harmful it was to me. I stopped using psychedelics before I went psychotic, and after being psychotic, I also never want to dabble with them again. It took a long time to piece my mind back together, just from my own brain chemicals getting out of whack. And the insights that I've gained from those experiences, I can still utilize, and I'm in a better position to articulate my experiences and what I perceive as the wisdom that I've gained from them. As I get older too, I realize that my time has passed with all of those things, as I don't want to use them anymore. And it's for other people to decide if they want to use them. There's a lot of people that can get stoned and talk about the benefits of them. There's not many people that are no longer using them that can still talk about the benefits of them. I feel they're in a substantially larger minority. And I'm going to put this on the pyre, and I'd also like to state that living a psychedelic life, or having psychedelic spirituality, or appreciating psychedelic things doesn't mean necessarily using drugs. It's kind of a mindset, and you can have those experiences without the use of drugs, and that's where I'm at with it. I don't need them. I'm much better off without them. And with that, if you're listening to the podcast, you can watch me on YouTube. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you can listen to the podcast on several podcasting platforms. A link below is the key to all my social media and podcasts and all that. I love, respect, and appreciate all of you. Make today magical with the attitude of gratitude and a mentality of manifestation. Love and light. Namaste.